My name is Dominic Dixon, and this is my final presentation for my dream office design. So the mission for this project was to create a concept for a dream office space. The space had to contain a bathroom and a community space, while also being able to function with a minimum of 2 people and up to a maximum of 5. The space had to follow a general theme, and it should always provide visitors with an experience whenever they entered it. And with the project, we had no maximum or minimum requirement for the size. The vision of my dream office space was to create a space that provided not only the essentials for the designer, but more importantly created a space that provided clients with that experience. When clients come in with a design need or problem, the space should immediately show the designer strong attention to detail and the space a strong identity. It should provide the clients with the comfort knowing that the design is going to be exceptional, and the space should leave a lasting impact on the client, so if they have a need in the future, they'll think of your space and come back to you for their design. So the theme I went with this was bold and functional design. I wanted the space to feel strong and bold and catch someone's eye, but still feel functional and structured and not disorganized. The design style I went with that was industrial. I feel like industrial lends itself well to open spaces that are, structured and laid out while still having a bold, raw feel in the space with wood, concrete, and metal. So the strategy I used for this space was I focused on the strong metal accents with splashes of wood to soften the space, as well as focusing on strong functional furniture rather than extravagant frilly furniture, as I tried to use Raymond Loewy's quote, beauty through function and simplification, in my space. So I wanted the space to feel functional and simple. So with that, when I designed my logo, I had definitely had the industrial feeling in mind with the gears, but I still wanted the font to feel soft. Except for the design factor, I wanted that to pop out and feel bold and really catch your eye when you look at it. Overall, I feel like the logo has a strong identity and it kind of comes together well to represent what I'm going for in my office space. And the 3 colors I have in this logo are the color that is represented in my design throughout my space. And the song that I went with to represent my space was Barracuda by Heart. The song itself has a very strong and soft instrumental, and overall the song is super memorable and has a very strong presence. And both of those qualities I wanted people to feel in my office, so I feel like this song lends itself well to what the identity of my office is. So when it came to my initial concept, I wanted 3 distinct spaces. I wanted to have, in the top left we have the designer space, the top right have a relaxing space, and the bottom right having a conference space. I wanted the spaces to feel separate but unified, and overall I felt that this was a good representation of that, and I kind of took the majority of this and it came into my final design. But when you add color and textures to the space, I feel like it kind of unifies it and makes them all feel not as splotchy in the space. So then we have my first render. As you've seen here, this is the conference space. This is the initial view when you enter the office. It has, the first thing that catches your eye is that quote, and overall I wanted the space to feel right in your face, but still very structured and functional. So that's why I have the conference space right in the entrance, the door, and it's very open on the entrance, as you can see in the top right in the wayfinder. So the space feels open, but yet I wanted that conference space to be structured in the corner. Now with my second render, I have the back corner of the conference space looking into the designer space. So as you can see there again, you have the open layout when you enter, as well as having it kind of feel tight-knit and grouped well. Now this area primarily is where you're going to be talking with clients and working with them. So I had it in the back corner to make it feel close and tight-knit and not as open and loose. I wanted you to feel like you're having a one-on-one conversation with whoever you're talking with. Now here's a render of the designer space. The designer space is tucked away in that back corner. It's closed off, but still provides plenty of room for the designer to work with. So it's closed off, it's its own space, but still provides room for the designer to leave and move around in the space if they want. And then here's a back view. Again, you can see that open feeling behind the desk. And just to get an overall view of the whole space, it's a small, simple space, but I feel like it executes what I was going for well with being bold and standing out, and overall being functional for what the needs of the designer and the needs of the client are going to be. And then here's a view just leaving the space. Here you can see the clock on the wall to, a reoccurring symbol with the logo, as well as kind of having this kind of last view you would get if you were leaving as the designer, and something the clients would see if they were moving around in the space. So with spatial definition, the space itself is relatively open, and I wanted the only physical barriers to be the desk that separated the designer space from the general conference space, and obviously closing off the bathroom. It'd be kind of gross if it wasn't. And the space is completely encapsulated, providing that sense of security and closure. And I wanted the space to feel generous, so it's a generous scale, has 12-foot high ceilings, and I wanted to have a large open area to move around in. So breaking up the space and having area to move around while still having a generous scale makes office feel bigger than maybe it actually is. The office is designed in a square with a corner removed to create a tighter space for the designer in the bottom, while still providing an open space for clients and others when they enter the space. The space is completely closed off from the outside, no windows or anything, with one entrance from the outside to reinforce the idea of closure and security in the space. So the textures I went with the space included that smooth wood, the rough concrete exposed wall, and the smooth and rough metal that I have accented out throughout the space. So with function, as I said before, the function of the space, I wanted to have that 3 distinct spaces. So the conference area in the red, the relaxing area in the yellow, and the design space. I wanted them to all feel unique and individual, but lend themselves to one big office space. I wanted to feel organized and structured in a way that they were separate, but as a group they functioned. And the big landmark of my space altogether is that inspirational quote I tried to design around: beauty through function and simplification. I think it lends itself well to the space, and it captures the overall identity of the space that I went with. With traffic flow, the space is very open, but due to the layout with the, cut on the square, it lends itself to that one major path in the middle with different locations to visit along it. So nodes would include the entrance of the space along with the designer's desk, as well as when you look at like the landmark, like right here. So few nodes, open space, but with one general path along it. So who would use the space? So obviously me as the designer, the space was designed around me and my design needs. So with the space, I'm looking to have a space where I can create detailed and strong designs for a variety of clients. So I wanted the space to have a general theme that a lot of people can understand, but still feel strong and structured for me. So with that, I wanted the space to not be distracting and extravagant. I wanted the space to feel provide arousal and a pleasurable experience. And I wanted the space to have an experience with it that provided that I had a sort of dominance with the space. I felt in control in the space because I want the clients to feel like I know something as a designer. Now, with clients that come in, it could be anyone, a variety of people looking for design needs. With this, I made Johnny Roberts. He's a business owner looking to have a brand and logo designed. So he's going to come in and he's going to want the space to feel comfortable and comforting, but still, have him feel aroused in the space enough where he can feel like the space is a strong design, that he knows the designer is going to create something great for him. And I don't want him to feel necessarily not dominant in the space, but he's obviously not going to be as dominant as someone that works in the space and he's coming to for a design need. So in the situation with Johnny Roberts going through the events of experience, when it comes to the approach, obviously he's going to get a understanding of my company, whether it be through an ad or word of mouth from someone else that's worked with me in the past, and kind of build an idea of who I am and what my identity of my space is just by looking at my logo. So prior to that, I want him to feel like I have a strong identity with my Gearworks design logo, enough where he'd contact me and want to come into the space and work with me on a design. So when it came to the arrival, this is again the rendering of that first view you get when you walk into the space. So right away, I want him to have, see that quote on the wall and understand my ideals and my identity of this space, and I want him to feel welcome and at home and have it catch his eye right away. Now, with waiting, I wanted wait to be very minimal in my space. I didn't want my space to be associated with waiting around, waiting for me to be ready for them. I wanted them to immediately come in. They're in contact with me. We've set up time to come in. They can come in right away. We can get right to the conference area and work together on whatever design need or issue that they're working with. So with that, the moving to the destination is very quick, very brief, but still structured enough where I feel like it provides a good experience. So here's a rendering of the conference area there. This is where primarily the work's going to be done with the client. Obviously, the client can come to the designer's area if the designer wants to show them something on their computer, but in the conference area, the designer can work directly with them, get a grasp of what they're working on, what they work with, and perform the activity that they came in with they scheduled for the designer to work with them. Side trips would include going to the bathroom, or in the side table waiting area. If there was a wait that would be extended for any reason, that could be a reason that they'd go there. Or the designer, if he's working all day, he can go and relax or work in a different area. Now, when the client finishes with whatever they came in to talk to the designer with or work with the designer, it's going to be time to leave. So the exit is very close and brief. It's a quick just leave, but it gives them the opportunity to kind of take a look around and get that last look at the strong identity of the space, and hopefully feel like the designer has a strong attention to detail and they're going to create a strong design for the company or whoever's coming into the space. Thank you.